wonderful morning to you wherever it is you're listening to us from omoluwabi. It is 7.7 FM. Studio time check, 3 minutes gone past the hour of 7 o'clock from the studios of omoluwabi. It is 7.7 FM, the voice of integrity, the station that brings you the best in news, talk, and of course music. On that note, I'm welcoming you on board to another interesting edition of the program. News Lens right here on this dial. It is 7.7 FM. Omoluwabi, it is 7.7 FM, situated on the hills of Mokola in the city of Ibadan. Welcome on board to another edition of the program. Happy New Week to you. Trust you had a nice weekend and trust your week is starting on a very good note already. Wherever it is you are listening to my voice this morning, just note that you're about embarking on a journey, an educative, interesting, and exciting journey, where we'll bring you some of the headlines that made it through to the Nigerian dailies. That's all we do on the program. Yeah, bring you some of the headlines that made it through to the Nigerian dailies. We talk about some of them, and then you also get to be a part of the program when the time comes. We open the phone lines for you to join the conversation. And on that note, my name is Oluwatayo Ajiwole, and of course, I'm reporting for duty. Today, the 5th day in the month of August 2024. How are you doing this morning? Okay, without much ado, you know how we do. Like I said earlier, I will be reviewing some of the headlines. I have with me 4 newspapers this morning. I have the Vanguard newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Guardian, and of course the Nation newspaper for review this morning. Of course, I'll be reading out the headlines for us right after which I'll bring on my analysts to analyze some of the headlines with us this morning. You also get to be a part of the conversation. Yes, you get to be a part of the conversation. When the time comes, I'll open the phone lines for you to join the conversation this morning. And then, of course, you get to drop your comment on Facebook. On when the Facebook is live, I will let you know this morning. All right, without much ado, let's check what some of the headlines are saying. Okay, this morning. All right, you can drop your comment on the watch us on Facebook as we speak this morning. We are live on Facebook at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We are live on Facebook at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. You can watch us live and then drop your comment as regards some of the headlines that made it through to the dailies this morning. Okay, let's start with the Punch newspaper this morning with the banner headline here on the front page of the Punch newspaper saying hunger protest, Tinubu's speech attracts knocks, kudos, showing car PDP slam president's address. NGO orders AUL eat. And then this one says protest organizers demand 1,150 detainees release. Hunger protest, Tinubu's speech attracts knocks, kudos. And that's right here that says showing car PDP slam president address. And this one says NGO orders AUL eat. And we have this one saying protest organizers demand 1,150 detainees release. You can get full details of that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And then we have this one saying retail investors may shun bank stocks as shareholders loses 1.6 trillion naira. Retail investors may shun bank stocks as shareholders lose 1.6 trillion naira. Can get full details of that story on page 32 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Still from the Punch newspaper, we have this one saying marketers stop fuel supply, kills resurface. And this one say that marketers stop fuel supply, kills resurface. That story is on page 32 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Still from the Punch newspaper, we have this one saying public debt may eat 130 trillion naira by December. Public debt may eat 130 trillion naira by December. That's a report there. Can get it on page 32 of the Punch newspaper this morning. All right, still here saying JAMB gives tertiary institutions ultimatum to disclose illegal admissions. JAMB gives tertiary institutions ultimatum to disclose illegal admissions. That story is on page 42 rather, of the Punch newspaper this morning. I have this one saying NDLEA arrest 2 with drugs hidden in baby food tins. NDLEA arrest 12 rather. NDLEA arrest 12 with drugs hidden in baby food tins. That story is on page 4 and 5, pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying hardship, states gets 570 billion naira grants. Hardship, states get 570 billion naira grants. That story is on page 31 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And then lastly, let's check this sports story saying how we broke 20-year jinx to reach Olympics quarterfinals, the Tigress. How we broke 20-year jinx to reach the Olympics quarterfinals, the Tigress. That story is on page 45 of the Punch newspaper this morning. right, let's check some other headlines this morning. That's all we have from the Punch newspaper. Let's check the Guardian newspaper this morning with this one saying national broadcast outrage over rehash of old policies, threats, failure to suit protesters. And that story there is the banner headline on the front page of the Guardian newspaper and is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then we have this one saying protests, 52 billion naira worth of looting, it's setback to entrepreneurs' investments. Okay. Protests, 52 billion naira worth of looting is setback to entrepreneurs' investment. That story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Livestock Ministry must end open grazing conflicts. Livestock Ministry must end open grazing conflicts. That story there is on page 12 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying Kano judicial probes looting of court protest continues. Kano judiciary probes looting of courts as protest continues, rather. Kano judiciary probes looting of courts as protest continues. You can get that story there on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying nationwide protest, dialogue remains best option, says Diri. Nationwide protest, dialogue remains best option, says Diri. You can get that story there on page 27 of the Punch of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying import duty, FX rises to 1,618 naira per dollar. Import duty, FX rises to 1,618 naira per dollar, despite Tinubu's pledges. That story there is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Council autonomy, or your chairman pull out of Argon to form new association. Council autonomy, or your chairman pull out of Argon to form new association. That story there is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Poor internet service lingers as NCC denies new tariff. Poor internet service lingers as NCC denies new tariff. That story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And that's all we have from the Guardian newspaper this morning. Let's check the Vanguard newspaper very quickly this morning with the banner headline saying protest, Tinubu's brokers fell short of expectations. Protest, Tinubu's brokers fell short of expectations. Organizers, Atiku, Soyinka, PDP, NLC, others. And then this one saying protests continue in Lagos, Osun, Kano, others. Tinubu's speech, Olo, fails to address hardship among Nigerians. That's coming from Atiku. His brokers didn't address policy. Didn't address policy brutality against protesters. That's coming from Soyinka. Address economic contractions, NECA, tax government. And this one saying truckers rubbish Tinubu's protest speech. Say presidents bereft of ideas. Can get full details of that story on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. And this is still from the Guardian newspaper, Vanguard newspaper, sorry. We have this one saying federal government's reform have not brought promised renewed hope and agenda. That's coming from Catholic bishops there. Federal government's reform have not brought promised renewed hope. That's from the Catholic bishop there. You can get the full details of that story on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. IBB rezones post endorsing military rule. IBB rezones post endorsing military rule. That story is on page 37 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. This one says households struggle to cope with galloping food prices. Households struggle to cope with galloping food prices. You can get full details of that story on page 24 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying Ashi protests, some people want to blackmail me, Obi. Ashi protests, some people want to blackmail me. That's coming from Peter Obi. You can get full details of that story on page 13 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Stop bloodshed, ex-ADC presidential candidate Kachuku begs protesters. Stop bloodshed, ex-ADC presidential candidate Kachuku begs protesters. You can get full details of that story on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying Ladi Olorun Yomi tries detained by generals. Exile was only option. That's an editorial there from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And this one from the sports, World of Sports in history makers. The Tigers become first African team to qualify for the quarterfinal, for Olympic quarterfinals. History makers, the Tigers become first African team to qualify for Olympic quarterfinals. You can get full details of that story on page 38 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And lastly, let's check the Nation newspaper with this one as the banner headline saying protesters leave Lagos ground this Saturday, Abuja, Bini venues. Protesters leave Lagos ground, desert Abuja, beneath venues. That story has a writer that says Sanwo-Olu opens engagement channels, showing how to handle protesters. Can get full details of that story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying JAMB issues ultimatum to varsities over illegal admission. JAMB issues ultimatum to varsities over illegal admission. That story is on page 6 of the Nation newspaper this morning. How we are reforming economy, agreed orders by Tinubu. How we are reforming economy, agreed orders by Tinubu. Can get full details of that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Oyo Council chairman pull out of Algon. That story is on page 7, saying Oyo Council chairman pull out of Algon. That story is on page 7 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Ministers on path to boost intra-Africa trade. Ministers on path to boost intra-Africa trade. Can get full details of that story on page 6 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And we have this one saying Fitinri Kachuku Okocha give president more time. Fitinri Kachuku Okocha give president more time. Okay, can get full details of that story there on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. That's the writer here saying PDP Okukwe Ezekwesili orders differ on presidential broadcast. Okay, if you're interested, get a copy of the Nation newspaper and see full details of that story. Ladoja accepts beaded crown. Another interesting one there on page 7 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Olympic quarterfinal, President hails the Tigress. That story is on page 31 of the Nation newspaper this morning. And then let's see this one very quickly. 6 building material manufacturing hubs coming, says Housing Minister. 6 building material manufacturing hubs coming, says Housing Minister. I can get full details of that story on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have from the Nation newspaper and, of course, from the headlines this morning. Very quickly, we'll be going on a very short commercial break. When we come back, I'll be introducing our analysts this morning. We'll be analyzing some of the stories that made it through to the Nigerian dealers this morning. Do not go anywhere. Still News Lens right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after this short timeout.
The voice of integrity, omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, made with the goodness of malt, milk, cocoa, and crunchy Niger-grown maize, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Break time is crunch time, so give your chance this delicious crunchy delight to keep them winning all day. Milo and a snack of future champions. Milo!
Hello?
Hello there. I'm at the hospital right now because the kills are seriously ill. I've been on a long queue and the doctor is here to attend to me. I don't know what to do again.
You know what? How about the numbers I gave you while leaving?
Oh, the e-doctor numbers?
Yes.
Call them right away. They will attend to you immediately.
Hello?
Darling, just like magic. Junior is playing. Even Princess is eating like an adult.
You know I've told you to calm down. Our family is covered with e-doctor premium plan. With eDoctor, you have access to healthcare at your fingertips. Stop wasting your productive hours while waiting in the clinic for doctor. Subscribe today to any of eDoctor plans and enjoy online chat and call consult, laser therapy, medical outreach, and home care services. Simply dial 0704-714-2000 or 0701-000-8670. Log on to www.edoctor.com or visit us at eDoctor, number 2 Ocean Street, New Bodija, Ibadan. eDoctor, inspiring wellness.
Wait, Mama Comfort, where you dey go? You just dey rush.
Mama John, I won't go open my shop. I need plenty sales today. I won't go market soon.
Mama Comfort, shey you don hear about omoluwabi radio 87.7 FM. Then they do advert for businesses where we say your market go sell wara. You sef go dey happy.
You mean I go reach them now?
You fit fit call them on 090-5339-5550. Then go explain to you wella and their charge no dey break back.
Mama comfort, e go better for una. Omoluwabi radio, I dey come o.
Omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
My sabi people, how una dey? Na sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM, na dem be Sabi Radio.
Alright, you're welcome back. It's the News Lens right here on Omoluwabi 7.7 FM. And then before we went on that break, I told you we're going to be reviewing some of the headlines that we have this morning, right after that short commercial break. And of course, this morning I have with me in the studio, Professor Wole Akinyemi. Good morning, Prof.
Morning, Tayo. Good morning, City of Ibadan. Good morning to our listeners around the world.
Okay, we have on the major newspapers this morning, the front pages of the major newspaper this morning, many people reacting to the speech of the president yesterday, the president's nationwide broadcast yesterday, and then talking about the speech. The Vanguard report this morning saying protests, Tinubu's broadcast fell short of expectations. That's coming from organizers Atiku, Shoyinka, PDP, NLC, others. The organizers of the nationwide protest are saying it fell short of expectations. Atiku is also saying the same thing. Professor Wole Shoyinka is saying the same thing. PDP, NLC are also saying the same thing, saying they expected more from the president yesterday, but then the president fell short of expectations. That's according to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Punch also report the same thing, saying hunger protest. Tinubu's speech attracts knocks, kudos. Shoyinka PDP slam president's address. NGO orders hail it. Protest organizers demand 1,150 detainees release. That story there is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. All right, let's get a snippet of the president's speech yesterday before I take Professor Wole Akinyemi's reaction this morning as regards what he feels as regards what the president's delivery yesterday. We having his thoughts after this. After this snippet from the president's nationwide broadcast yesterday.
My fellow Nigerians, I speak to you today with a heavy heart and sense of responsibility, aware of turmoil and violent protests unleashed in some of our states. Notably, among the protesters were young Nigerians who desired a better and more progressive country where their dreams, hope, and personal aspiration will be fulfilled. I am especially pained by the loss of lives in Borno, Jigawa, Kano, Kaduna, and other states, the destruction of facilities in some states, and the wanton looting of supermarkets and shops, contrary to the promise of protest organizers that the protest will be peaceful across the country. The destruction of properties set us back as a nation, as scarce resources will be again used to restore them. I commiserate with the families and relations of those who have died in the protests. We must stop further bloodshed, violence, and destruction. As the president of this country, I must ensure public order in line with the constitutional oath to protect the lives and property of every citizen. Our government will not stand idly by and allow a few with a clear political agenda to tear this nation apart. Under the circumstances, I hereby enjoin protesters and the organizers to suspend any further protests and create room for dialogue, which I have always acceded to at the slightest opportunity. Nigeria requires all hands on deck and need us all, regardless of age, party, tribe, religion, or other divides, to work together, reshaping our destiny as a nation. For those who have taken undue advantage of this situation to threaten any section of this country, be warned. The law will catch up with you. There is no place for ethnic bigotry or such threats in the Nigeria we seek to build. Our democracy progresses when the constitutional rights of every Nigerian are respected and protected. Our law enforcement agencies should continue to ensure full protection of life and properties of innocent citizens in a responsible manner. My vision for our country is one of a just and prosperous nation where each person may enjoy the peace, freedom, and meaningful livelihood that only democratic good governance can provide. One that is open, transparent, and accountable to the Nigerian people. My dear Nigerians, especially our youth, I have heard you loud and clear. I understand the pain and the frustration that drive these protests. And I want to assure you that our government is committed to listening and addressing the concerns of our citizens.
All right, that was the president there speaking there. He then went further to state some of the things this administration have been doing in time past and still doing as a speaker to cushion the effects of some of the policies that Nigerians are complaining about. Professor Wale Akinyemi, you must have read or read the full speech of the president that the president delivered yesterday. And then many Nigerians are reacting. Many Nigerians are saying that they expected more from the president rather than what he delivered yesterday. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much. Mr. President obviously had used the carrot and stick approach in his speech. As much as he tried to appeal to Nigerians, he also tried to be very, very firm that his government will not tolerate anarchy or a regime of violence. In the entire speech, when I studied it yesterday, the one that really appealed to me was where Mr. President referred to Nigerians as my dear brothers and sisters. Now, that shows some measure of empathy. And I would have expected that with that, government should reciprocate that brotherliness in concession, in conceding certain things to Nigerians. Because all the things that Nigerians have demanded from this protest, the president's speech has sidelined all of them. He has not made definite pronouncements on those things. I'm not saying the president should hook, line, and sinker approve everything, but at least government at this point should be able to make some concession. After all, it's a democratic government. But the situation in which the government is digging in and feel that they have superior knowledge to other Nigerians, and they believe that what they are doing is cast in stone and cannot be revised, I don't think it is acceptable. And I don't think that Mr. President should walk that route. Yes, there will be some fifth columnists that want to give political coloration to the protest and the rest of it. But by and large, majority of Nigerians have reasons to protest. Check the age profile of the protesters. You will see that they are young people. Young people in Nigeria, as things stand today, do not have a future. And they see the kind of lavish government that we run. I would have expected government, for example, to make definite pronouncement on how they will reduce the cost of governance in Nigeria. The people that are leading us are not ready to give any grants. Yes, they're asking Nigerians to continue to make sacrifices. I think it is hypocritical. I think it is unfair.
So you think the president probably should have made some major declarations yesterday?
Absolutely. I was looking forward to it.
Okay.
And short of it.
Some set of people are speaking this morning. Professor Wole Soyinka spoke yesterday, and some major politicians also spoke yesterday. And then let's check this one from Alhaji Atiku Abubakar saying Tinubu's speech, Olu, fails to address hardship among Nigerians. That's coming from Atiku Abubakar. President is saying the president's speech was Olu, and it failed to address the brutality. Okay, it fails to address hardship among Nigerians. What's your take on that, Prof?
Well, I want to look at the message and not the messenger. Because if I were to look at the messenger, I would say that these people, their own track record, when they are in government, if they have done the needful, Nigerians wouldn't have gotten to the point where it is now. So majority of what some of these politicians are saying is just playing to the gallery and they're trying to seize the opportunity, maybe to reposition themselves as being patriotic. But the message, let us look at the message and leave the messenger now. Yes, what Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said is actually very, very good. It is what should be required at this particular moment. We demand more from our government, and I don't think it is asking for too much. Because look at the way Nigerians are being governed. Look at, is it the cost of food we want to talk about? Is it insecurity we want to talk about? Is it dilapidated infrastructure we want to talk about? Is it the cost of energy we want to talk about? Is it the totally collapsed the downstream sector that you want to talk about? So many things that are going wrong about the same time. I mean, there is enough that the people can cope with. Nigerians, they have their back to the wall now. The other thing that is remaining for them now is to go back and face the people that are oppressing them.
Interesting one there. Okay, let's check what some other persons are saying this morning. This one is coming from Professor Wole Soyinka. Is saying his brokers didn't address police brutality against protesters, and then we've seen instances during the protests. I don't know if you saw some of those clips, Prof, where police were actually engaging in physical combats with protesters, using sticks and the likes, especially up north, chasing protesters with sticks, and some policemen beating people. Some people get arrested. And up until today, we don't know their whereabouts. Then Professor Wole Soyinka is saying that the president didn't address that part of in his speech yesterday, and he said he expected the president to make a major pronouncements as regards that. So what's your take on that?
I think towards the tail end of the speech, if you look at it very well, Mr. President did appeal to the security organizations that they should be very civil and they should act professionally. So I think he is sensitive to that measure of brutality. But they don't forget that the security organizations is the commander-in-chief of the security, of Nigerian security forces, as it were. So he definitely certain order must have been given to the Inspector General of Police.
But protesters are saying now we need the release of 1,150 detainees very fast, and they are saying we need them to be released as soon as possible. That's coming from the protester. Let me read it just according to what Nigerian the Punch newspaper puts here this morning, saying protest organizers demand 1,150 detainees release. Prof, what's your take on that? That means we still have a lot of people in police detention as we speak.
Government, we have to use those people that have been arrested to negotiate for peace. I mean, that's what I will expect governments to do. Okay, if you are releasing these people, we are not releasing them so that they go and escalate the situation outside there. Maybe they will make them sign an undertaking that they will be of good behavior and they will not go back to protest violently. I think that is not asking for too much from government.
All right, so let's move away from the issue of protest and the president's nationwide broadcast yesterday. Let's come down to Oyo State, where council chairmen in Oyo State are pulled out of Algon. Council autonomy, Oyo chairman pulled out of Algon to form new association. There's another twist to this local government autonomy issue. Prof, let me really take your view on this before I go into the details of that story. Council autonomy or your chairman pull out of Algon to form new association. Can get full details of that story on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Prof, what's your take on that?
To be brutally frank with you, what the local government election in Oyo State was a charade. You know, it was more of a selection than an election, and all the people that were selected were PDP people. So you expect government to have Oyo State government to have considerable influence upon them. If you look at the body language and the spoken language of the executive governor of Oyo State, you see that it probably has informed this position of these people trying to pull out of Algon. I think it's a deliberate strategy to weaken the local government. Unfortunately, it is already a matter of law. So what they are doing now, it may be, if I want, I would have loved legal experts to interpret it and see how, whether what they are doing, they have a right to do it, to say that they want to work against what has been legally instituted in Nigeria, autonomy of local government.
Yeah, pulling out of Algon, many might agree with them, none of our business, pull out of Algon. But then, will that stop you from performing your constitutional rights? Will that stop the people from questioning you if they know that you are giving some certain amount of money, say you are giving a amount of probably 300 million naira from the federal allocation to for developments in your local government, and you're not doing so? Wouldn't Nigeria come for you? You just think it's about pulling out of Algon. Prof, what's your take on that?
Let me tell you, the way Nigeria is now and the way our people are feeling, if you feel the pulse of the public, if they give money to people on the chairman in the local government, Nigerians will expect performance. And because they are very, very close to the grassroots, I expect that so many people will be working directly to the chairman in the local government to ask them, what exactly are you doing with the money that you are taking? The absolute truth of the matter is that there have been an increase, maybe 300% increase in the revenue that is coming back to states. So now that government and local government have been given autonomy, I believe that quantum of money also will come to local government. So it must translate to increased delivery of good dividends of democracy. Anything short of that is totally unacceptable.
So many have come to many have been saying a lot of things as regards the issue of local government's autonomy, especially as regards your state. Many are saying what's the big deal? Allow these guys to perform their constitutional responsibility without any form of any form of interference. But then we've seen governors coming out to say a lot of things, saying they have to monitor local government chairmen, talking about salaries, paying of salaries of primary school teachers and the likes like that. And then many are saying are we saying that these local government chairmen are not competent enough to be on their own?
The 36 states of Nigeria, they are the federating units. So their performance, that is the performance of the various governors and their government, to a very, very large extent, to reflect on the performance of the federal government. Unfortunately, Nigerians have put so much focus on the federal government, and it's like the governors are hiding under that to perpetuate all sort of shenanigans. I don't think that we have optimum performance at the state level. Yes, there are some governors that are performing very well. Thank God, Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State is one of those governors that are performing. But what we are saying is that for the quantum of money, the amount of money that we hear that these people are receiving, let it translate into delivery of good dividends of democracy. There should be more of government now and less of politicking. The absolute truth of the matter is that the beauty of democracy is that the people that you voted in, you can also vote them out. So if these people, for one reason or the other, they believe that politics is much more important than governance, then you will show them the door.
All right, don't forget we are streaming live on Facebook this morning. You can drop your comments on Facebook at omoluwabi. It is 7.7 FM. Omoluwabi, it is 7.7 FM. We are on Facebook this morning. You can drop your comment on Facebook this morning. For those who do not know, the full gist as regards the issue of the local government chairman in Oyo State pulling out of Argon. Let me give you some insight into that story this morning. The 33 council chairman of the Oyo State dumped the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, Argon, over the Supreme Court judgment granting financial autonomy to local governments across the country. The chairman, in a communique signed by the chairman, unanimously declared their unalloyed support for Governor Seyi Makinde. Argon's public relations officer in the state, Ibrahim Akintayo, described the chairman's stand as solidarity to Governor Makinde's recent stand on local government autonomy as ruled by the Apex Court. They attributed their unequivocal loyalty to Makinde for his exemplary leadership and unrivaled achievements since the assumption to office. And then this one says it will be recalled that Governor had, during a meeting with some stakeholders after a court ruling, constituted committees to review the Apex Court ruling on local government autonomy. And then let's quote what from the governor said this morning. I said, I called this meeting because I felt that even though we have not seen the certified true copy of the judgment of the Supreme Court, we have to be proactive and discuss the decision of the Supreme Court as it concerns financial autonomy of the local government councils, because I believe a lacuna has been created between the decision and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that we all swore to uphold. The law is the law, and then there is a conflict. Yes, we should go to the court, but if it behooves on us to look for our own homegrown solutions that can ensure that we have transparency, that our people do not suffer. This is because when two elephants are fighting, it is the grass that will suffer, the governor had stated. Makinde stands on Supreme Court ruling has, however, received mixed reaction from the public, with some supporting his stance and others criticizing the governor. According to a communique, the decision to move to a new association was arrived due to the need to protect and provide for people in their various local government areas. Prof, what these local government chairmen are saying, they are saying that they are pulling out of Argon as a form of solidarity to Governor Seyi Makinde on his stance on the local government autonomy. What's your take? Is it about the governor or about the people?
I'm totally embarrassed that people will go out and make even public pronouncement to say that they have a loyalty to the governor. Their loyalty should be to the people of Oyo State. Because Governor Makinde himself, his loyalty is to the people of Oyo State. This is what would to the Constitution to protect the people. So a situation in which individuals will be raised beyond that, we should be promoting institutions, not individuals. I think it's psychophancy as far as I'm concerned, and Governor Seyi Makinde should not fall for this, because these people is just what they want to hit. It's because of poverty, and it's because there has not been a level playing field in their election, as it were. I believe that if the local government administration in Nigeria is a reflection of the various political options that we have, you probably will not get to this point. So all of these people that are saying that yes, their loyalty is to Governor Seyi Makinde, they are taking us back, because this is not a military administration where you have a garrison kind of a tendency. This is supposed to be a democracy, and Governor Seyi Makinde should not fall for that kind of trap.
Okay, let's move away from that. Let's check the issue of petrol this morning. Marketers stop fuel supply, queues resurfaces. Prof, we always talk about this almost every week. Week in, week out. We talk about queues resurfacing on Nigerian streets as regards to the supply of petrol. Prof.
Because there is a whole lot of shenanigan. That sector itself is not transparent. It's a cesspool of corruption.
And then
I know we have always said it on this platform that the entire place should be overhauled, starting with the sack of the NNPC managing director. He has overstayed his welcome. I don't know why Mr. President continues to tolerate this level of inefficiency. He's reputed to be somebody who knows how to put the right peg in the right hole.
But then as we speak, Prof, the president is still the substantial Minister for Petroleum as we speak.
I think he should just leave that position and give it to a substantive minister. He has more than enough to chew rather than saddling himself, because If he says he's the substantive minister of petroleum resources and we have this level of inefficiency in the system, it's a very sad commentary for him.
Okay. Part of, as a matter of fact, part of the request of the protesters, the nationwide protesters, was that the president should find a lasting solution to the issue of petrol crisis in Nigeria. And then we are reading in the news again that queues are resurfacing on the street of Nigeria. Is this not part of what people are asking for?
I think Mr. President's attempt to solve that problem really is to create alternative. If, for example, the CNG project can be expedited, definitely that will be a competition. And if people know that they have the gas option, then definitely you see that there will be some measure of efficiency in the petroleum section. The other thing that government is doing really is to make sure that even the cost of converting vehicles to be CNG compliant should be grossly subsidized by government. I think government should move from making promises to actually actualizing some of these policy statements. These are the critical things that can be done to break the back of the people that have owed Nigeria as it were in the jugular. The oil sector is so corrupt. The oil sector is so shrouded in secrecy. The oil sector, unfortunately, the people that are benefiting from these things, they are also the people that are financing our politicians.
Interesting one there. All right, you can get to be a part of the program. Yeah, you can be a part of the program by dropping a comment on Facebook at this morning at omoluwabi 7.7 FM. Omoluwabi 7.7 FM. We are streaming live on Facebook. You can drop your comments right there on Facebook this morning. We'll read them when the time comes for us to read. You can also join the conversation. When we open the phone lines, you join the conversation this morning. Very shortly, we'll be opening the phone lines. But then before we do just that, we'll be going on a short commercial break now. When we return, we open the phone lines for you to join the conversation, and then we'll read some of the comments on Facebook, and then we'll check out probably one or two more stories before we leave the show this morning. It's still Newslands right here on Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. We'll be back after the short time out.
Voice of Integrity, omoluwabi 87.7 FM.
Junior, don't do that.
Sweetheart, no matter what you do, we show you love. So you can show more love to everyone.
Mom, how do you show more love to everyone? I will show you love.
Show some more love today with 4 more packs of your favorite Indomie noodles in Indomitable and Super Pack carton. So each Indomitable pack is now 200 Naira, while Super Pack is now 350 Naira. So hurry now. Offer valid till stock lasts.
In any emergency, every second counts. The Nigerian Communications Commission brings you the 112 emergency toll-free line, available nationwide, anytime, any day, absolutely free. With just 3 simple digits, 112, help is on the way. Dial from any network at any time. No charges, just immediate response. Remember, the 112 toll-free line directly connects to emergency services. If you need the police, fire service, ambulance services, Federal Road Safety Corps, Nigeria Civil Defense Corps, and more. Because when it comes to saving lives, we're all in this together at NCC. NCC, connecting Nigeria.
When it's bright and early, get your breakfast right. You need all the nutrients that will hold you tight. Stay in power, you find it all in Peak. Every move you make, Peak's got you all the way. And the Peak goes on.
Power on every morning with our Peak protein breakfast to make the most of every day. Peak, reach for your peak.
Honey, this meal tastes so good and different. Wait, your meals have been extra delicious lately. Even your fries. Is that something you're not telling me?
Well, it is BBMB oil. It has made my meal taste so good. I now enjoy cooking unlike before. Even you, my husband, is now so happy.
BBMV oil?
Yes, BBMV oil is so good, pure and non-sticky that it can be used at home and parties for frying, cooking, baking, and lots more. Guess what? I'm even planning to be a distributor with BBMV oil because they supply in small and large sizes for consumers, retailers, and wholesalers, and there are trucks to move items purchased.
Wow, that is so amazing. BBMV Ventures, located at 36 Old Adioyo Road, Yemetu, Ibadan, and BBMV House, Kilometer 2, New Ikirun Road, beside National Library, Oshogbo. Telephone numbers 0811-581-3819 or 0905-386-5304. BBMV Oil, eat healthy, pay less.
Hello, with everybody for you.
My Sabi people, how una dey? Na Sabi people dey listen to Sabi Radio. Omoluwabi Radio 87.7 FM, na dem be Sabi Radio.
Welcome back. It's still Newslands right here on omoluwabi 87.7 FM. And then before we went on that break, we told you that you can join the conversation. We open the phone lines. We open the phone lines for you to join the conversation this morning. The studio lines are buzzing already, but let me read out the phone lines before we start picking calls for the benefits of those who do not know it already. 07047 007999. 07047007999. You can also call us on 08053 888933 08053888933. Those are the studio lines to call to be a part of the program this morning. You can also drop your comments on Facebook this morning at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. Omoluwabi 87.7 FM. That's the studio line to be a part of the. You can rather join us on Facebook rather at Omoluwabi 87.7 FM to drop your comments as we will read them when the time comes. All right. Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
Hello, good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Adeyinke from Muslim.
All right, please make your point. Hello. All right. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Yes, Jameson.
All right. Mr. Jameson, please make your point. From where are you calling us from?
From Akobo.
All right, please make your point, please.
Yeah, the federal government, represented by the president of the nation, sidelines all the requests of the protesters. In fact, he didn't even mention anything that could bring an answer to the questions of those people. Rather, he was reaffirming the fact that he cannot remove fuel subsidy. I mean, that the fuel subsidy that is removed will remain there. In fact, there's no answer to their question, to any of their questions, out of the 38 points that he made. And he didn't even talk about the suppression of the people by the security. It's as if he's deaf to all the noise, all the voice, all the requests of the people. So he's not ready for a change at all. That's the way I look at it.
All right, thank you.
It's not good. It's not good for any government. You call it democratic government. And you are not ready to listen to the voice of the people.
All right, let's give some other people. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's give some other people the opportunity to be a part of the program. Our studio lines are buzzing. We really appreciate your call this morning. All right, sir. Okay. Thank you very much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Candyman.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to react to the album. So, in as much as I want to agree in granting local government autonomy, I still believe that it is not the solution, but we further bring more harm to the people at the grassroots, especially the workers. Just take a look at the caste administration where workers are getting no salary, where the pensioners they are not being paid. Do you know the amount of debt being under the pensioners in our primary school state that the previous administration are holding due to when the local government are paying them? Even the ongoing recruitment that was going on, people were not ready to apply because they believe that the local government chairman they owe the primary school teacher salary. So I still wonder why the federal government is not paying directly to the force of the local government. That's my own take on that.
Right, thank you very much. You made your point. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yes, this is Miriam. I'm calling from Modejai.
All right, please make your point.
As regards the protest, to me, it's a good thing that the protesters and all security agencies in our state are working hand in hand, which is why we're experiencing relatively the day one of the protest. I want to employ those from other states to emulate. And as regards the president's speech, I believe that is not what we want to hear, because he didn't hit the nail on the head at all. He was just beating around the bush. We need more of action, enough of paper talk. That's my take. Good morning.
Thank you very much this morning. Okay, let's see if we can pick one or two calls before we go. All right. Hello, good morning.
This is the boss of John Newsom. Thank you for this program.
All right. You're welcome.
I listened to the presidential address yesterday, and let me say that the president had used substantial reasoning for his economic measures against this May last year, and therefore put on ground to cushion the effect, thereby shaping the grip on the state governors. And so we should be asking our state governors, all those efforts being put by the president, how are they contributing to it? But he, the president, is technically dirty to address the issue of hunger in the land. And we, however, commend him for condemning ethnic bigotry. And he said, let's choose unity over division. That's a welcome statement. I'm very happy with that presidential comment yesterday. Thank you, John Newsom is my name.
Thank you very much, Mr. John Newsom, for being a part of the program this morning. Let's pick this last call and we'll take some comments on Facebook this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
This is Tolu.
Okay, from
and
where?
I'm calling from US.
Okay, please make your point very fast.
In all honesty, the state address of Mr. President really fell short of our expectations yesterday. But are we surprised? We are not. Because you can only give what you are. Because there's no way you can give something or nothing. See, we expected him to tell Nigerians when our refineries will start its full operations. But no, in a different way. It is we are working a year after a year. We are hearing promises upon promises. Anyways, the protest will continue. But I must commend all protesters in our state and even the security agencies for comporting themselves in another manner which has made us to live true to our needs as a free federal state. I want them to sustain that tempo and maintain that distance so that the protest won't be hijacked by hoodlums. Thank you. Good morning.
Thank you very much for being a part of the program. Let me take some comments on Facebook this morning. We have this one from Sergio Joseph Maya saying, good morning, sir. Well done for doing a great job this morning. Please, I want to know, is it true that the president doesn't care about the citizens? It's because I can't see where balance is coming between the president and the protesters. From the protesters equals take us back, reverse policies, and bad government, and from the president is forward ever, backward never. Please, we are in the balance. Okay, please, where is the balance in the president's speech? And there is information trending in my state now that is because the presidents have agenda of moving the federal territory to Lagos. Is it true? I don't think that is true. live from Bauchi State. That is not true. We've not heard anything. We've not confirmed that information. There's no such thing like agenda of moving the Federal Capital Territory back to Lagos as we speak. All right, let's take this one from Oluwaseun saying, good morning, Mr. Tayo. The APC federal government isn't being sincere to this local government autonomy because to me, why are they yet to start paying directly to the local government purse, of which they just want to cause chaos between the local governments and the governors? And we all knew that. We all knew what was happening before Governor Seyi Makinde administration came on board. Nobody in Oyo State was ready to apply for superb job due to local government failure to pay their salary, which later resulted to shortage of teachers. Shortage of teachers in primary schools. Mr. Governor should continue to do what is better for the Oyo State people. We have this one from Sulaiman Sherry saying, regarding to the issue of Oyo State LG chairman, their spokesperson said they agreed to form a new association of local government chairmen for better and protect the interests of and guarantee real development for the people of the grassroots. If that is the reason, they must walk the talk and not disappoint the masses at the grassroots. There's freedom of association in the constitution, 2 or 3, but the issue is that there's problem with the constitution and Nigeria has to do something with it. That's your own take as regards that. Okay, we have this one from Tolu Lokwe Adeyemi saying, good morning. The truth be told, the state address of the president really fell short of our expectation because they didn't address the situation going on in the country. We expected him to tell Nigerians when our refineries will start its full operation so that this hardship can come to an end. But I still need to commend the protesters and the security agencies in Oyo State for ensuring a peaceful protest so far, which means we heeded to the words of encouragement from Governor Seyi Makinde that should live true to our name. That we should live true to our name as a pace-setter state by making sure it is well coordinated so as not to have a repeat of NSAS in the states. All right, that's as much we'll be able to take on the comments. We have this one from Stephen Oyewumi saying, good morning. We are greeting you too. Good morning, Stephen Oyewumi. All right, we won't be able to take any calls anymore because we need to leave on the program this morning. Thank you very much to everyone who participated, who joined the program, to all those who dropped their comment on Facebook. We say a very big thank you to you. And to all the callers, we say a big appreciation to you for being a part of the program this morning. Professor Wale Akinyemi, thank you very much for being a part of the program this morning.
My pleasure.
Okay, right about now, Jonathan Ibidleke will be taking over from me on the program Sport Rev on Omoluwabi 7.7 FM, right after which Kakaki will be coming on board at exactly 8:30 this morning to Yoruba News paper review in Yoruba in our own local dialect here in Oyo State. All right, without much ado, see you again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the program News Lens on Omoluwabi 7.7 FM. My name is Oluwatayo Ajiwole. I'm signing out this morning saying enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.